if you were in a position where you were fighting a boxer in a boxing match, a very good boxer, how would you approach that? A lot of people are saying like, well, you can't go out there and actually just try to box Mayweather because everyone has failed at that. He has to try something different. What do you think?
I think actually trying something different is the only little advantage that he has. I think if he can throw off the unorthodox movement of a straight boxer, I think that's the only thing that can give Mayweather problems is bouncing around like an MMA fighter, cutting angles, like doing his dancing tactics, whatever he needs to do, because boxing's a very still sport. There's not a lot of movement, not a lot of flashiness, other than guys coming up like Lomachenko and people like that. So if he can somehow incorporate his MMA movement and style into his boxing fight, that could be the only thing that saves him.
Footwork. I'll put the fastest person in front of me and I would make them fucking run around the ring the whole entire time and make sure that my conditioning and my footwork, everybody thinks the conditioning in boxing has to do with your arms. What's the first thing to go is your legs. But when your legs go, what happens? They start to drop. Now, like I said, if Conor did his punching on his bag and he didn't do all of the rest of the conditioning with it, like I said, boxing is a completely different animal.
It's a little bit like thin line before to be a fan and support a fighter. And I support fighter. I support Conor McGregor. And the fan, it's like you don't want to see the reality. You just keep going your like hero. Yeah, it's different story. But I'm really support Conor McGregor because I believe that he can do this victory. He can take it, and he can do things unbelievable for all world.
Distance control. With Lomachenko, I've watched him. He's very good about distance control. He likes to go 1-2 and jump hard right to the angle. And then when his opponents cover up, that's when he's able to get those angles. So with him, you would have to do a lot more distance control with him because he likes to move his speed a lot. Then he also does some walking down when he walks you down and tries to play with you. So with him, it's always about distance control because the way he moves. So you always have to look at, and I've talked to Matt about this. I was like, Matt, if I was going to go into a boxing fight, what would I do different in training? He goes, well, you've been boxing your whole entire career. I mean, what the fuck you been doing? And I've had boxing fights before. So, like I said, you always look at the opponent. Like with Mayweather, he's more of a different cookie because you have to get, if I was to fight Mayweather, I would have to try to get him to overextend. I need to get him to overextend so I can land that shot where he's vulnerable to make him get wobble. And also distance control with that.
I will say this, like I've been around it, I train here at the PI as well, obviously. So I've seen I think he's approaching the fight the right way. I do. I think by trying to make fights happen inside, when he was up there sparring, he's not sparring, like he's actually fighting, he's inviting people out to sit and watch, and that's kind of, I've done some sparring over at Mayweather's gym too, and that's kind of like the feel over there, like those are actual fights, and people don't understand, like that's more experience. Sure. Those are experiences every time you do that, like you learn a little bit more about yourself, you get that same butterfly, those same nerves. So I think he did actually approach the fight the right way. I think he did the right thing about not bringing out a boxing trainer, because the boxing trainer is going to tell him everything that he does is wrong, and it's going to kill him. He could have had somebody, I don't know. He's got a bunch of yes men around him. It seemed like he trying to, he kind of going to that Rocky 3 thing where, it's a circus every time he train. He got the kids, he got the, he out there partying and shit. Like, he could have probably dialed back that a little bit. I don't know. I wasn't part of the training camp. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. But I do like the approach from the fight. It's just, it's a tough mountain to climb. You talking about 20 years of experience versus 0. That's a tough, shit, what can you do? In 6 weeks? Bro, you can't really do much.
Do you think he has any chance at all?
It's hard to say no. It's hard to say yes, because obviously this is a fight. At the end of the day, a fight's a fight. Anybody can, he could accidentally headbutt him, and, they can call it a punch on accident, and it could end the fight. No, it could happen, but do I think it's going to happen? Do I think it's likely? No, not at all.
He's going to go past 4 rounds. You're going to see Conor McGregor go straight up there, jump at Mayweather, just like me, what I'm doing to you guys. And then I'm going to start going body just like this. And then if that shit doesn't work, I'm going to say, do this kind of shit, put my hands behind my back and try to piss him off. But you got 2 counter fighters out there. It's going to be boring as fuck for the first round. So I'm hoping that fucking Mayweather and McGregor actually go out there and create some sparks, man. Let's fucking see it go 4 rounds, man. Like, prove me wrong. I want it to, you know what I mean? I was saying go the full distance, but fuck it, prove Tony Ferguson wrong, me, and go like what, 2 to 3 rounds. Show the fans what's up.
Conor can always, like I said, Mayweather is not a high-paced pressure fighter. Either is Conor McGregor when he doesn't want to be. Obviously, Conor McGregor has a range factor. He can walk him down and then hopefully be able to land that shot that's going to make a difference. My only thing is I don't want Conor going in there thinking that he just needs to land that shot. He needs to put combinations together and make every punch he throws count, because if he throws 1,000 punches and only 10 of them land, 990 of those punches are going to count against him. Because in boxing, if I block and defend a punch intelligently, I get points for that, and that's what I think the most of the MMA community is missing. Whereas when John Jones fought Alex Gustafsson, he threw like 5 head kicks, and Gustafsson blocked every single one of them, but he was still taking the damage. Those points kind of towards John Jones. So I think he has a good opportunity to win this fight if he can land that shot.
We might see Conor do something stupid on accident if he panics. You know what I'm saying? So he might throw an elbow, or he might headbutt, or he might do something like he doesn't realize that if he's in the middle of a fight, you're in a war, you're not going to say anything. What's his #1 sport? MMA. So, I mean, that being said, I mean, point taking here and there, and shit can happen. That's going to be a crazy fight.